Hello, mate. All right.
Yes, Jasan, how you doing? You good?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
Yes, all good, mate. Can't complain at all. Can't complain.
Good
Friday
man.
feeling and
Good
all that.
man. Yeah, I know. All right. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Looking forward on the weekend, mate.
That's it, mate.
Uh,
How can I help you, my friend? What's made you want to book the call?
yeah, yeah. Well, to be honest, Luke, I've been following you for a little while, mate, and looking into kind of avenues to not escape the 9 to 5, but maybe just have a kind of something that, I'm working towards with my own business. And obviously, I've liked the concept of rent to rent for a while. And to be honest, mate, I'm just learning more ways about how I can kind of be a part of that journey of creating my own rent to rent business and scaling it and just having someone like yourself on my side to kind of guide me along the way, mate, and kind of show me the ways. It's kind
Absolutely.
of where I was kind of hoping we could, chat about and stuff.
Yeah, no, I got you totally. So, what are you doing at the moment, like work wise? Are you full time and
Yeah,
employed or?
so yes, full-time employed, mate. Yeah. So originally I trained to be a solicitor, but I'm not doing that anymore. It wasn't something that was like,
Passionate?
yeah. I enjoyed the study of it, but the actual practice of it in the end was something that was really just draining me and kind of something that wasn't really bringing me that much like, kind of satisfaction or
Sure,
purpose from. So
sure.
when I left that about a year and a half ago, I've been in sales.
Okay, good.
Uh, so that's what I'm doing at the minute, mate. Yeah.
What you selling?
Yeah. So it's EE.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so it's like broadband, mobile, TV, a whole bunch of other stuff. They've got me
Yeah.
on um I don't know. It's not something I'd want to do. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy it more. I get to chat to people.
Mhm.
But it is what it is. That's where I'm at the minute, mate. Yeah, but so full-time employed in sales at the
Yeah.
minute, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good because the reason I asked that one is just because I like to see what people are doing, and sometimes people have transferable skills that they can cross over into rent to rent.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and the fact that you're doing sales is definitely a plus because we've had people come to us before who've been doing sales and they tend to do quite well from it
Oh, nice.
because you are
Nice. Yeah.
doing a lot of calling and speaking with landlords and agents. So it's good if you have that sort of familiarity with that process, you know?
100%, mate. 100%. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a skill that I do think I could bring
Good.
um to it all. But
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the goal then? Where are you trying to get to? I know like difficult to think about sometimes, but it's good to be clear on it, you know, because then we can sort of bring it
without a
towards
doubt.
you. So
Without a
wait,
doubt, mate. Yeah.
6 months time, where do you see yourself?
6 months time, ideally, I've got like I'm clued up on all the aspects of what creating a good rent-to-rent business model is about. You
Yeah.
know, as many good deals that I can find. I feel like I'm in a good area, Luke, because I'm like in close to Newcastle.
I thought so, yeah,
So
from your accent.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Geordie.
Come on. Yeah. But with the uni quite close, I
Yeah.
think it's a university that's kind of, a lot of people come to. It's always thriving with students. So I think that'll be a good location. But
Hmm.
in terms of like where I see myself, mate, to be honest, I feel like property is something it's always been kind of in the family because my dad's kind of always been a property man in terms of like he's had his own building company and he used to buy
Sure.
rundown places and do them up
Sure.
himself and kind of rent them out. So it's always
Sure.
kind of been there, but I've just not known how to get into it myself. But
Sure.
ideally, I mean, I feel like rent to rent will just be the avenue to get in, and I just want to scale it as much as I can, and then hopefully go into other things in terms of maybe, you know, I don't know if buy to lets you think are dead at the minute, but I mean, just other avenues just to
Hmm.
just kind of whether it's flips or it's kind of vessel to get in and then
Yeah.
hopefully just scale it into
Yeah.
something much bigger is kind of the
Yeah.
plan, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I love buy to let. Buy to let certainly not dead from
Yeah.
my perspective.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's a great place to park your money, watch it grow in terms of wealth over time, get some appreciation, also get some cash flow. Obviously, with rent to rent, you're going to make more in terms of monthly income, but you don't get to benefit from that wealth aspect of owning it.
Yeah, mate.
Um,
Yeah.
but the good thing about learning rent to rent is that when you do get round to buying your own, you know, you've got that skill set where you could maybe rent it out as an Airbnb rather than a
Mm,
traditional buy to let, which can make you a bit more money each month, you know?
mm, mm. No, definitely, mate.
And it's like getting two birds, one stone, then you're getting the appreciation and you're also getting that high cash flow as well.
Yeah, 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 absolutely, mate.
So, I mean,
Absolutely.
that's what I would definitely encourage. I'd still would say definitely to buy at some point in the future. But in terms of creating that high income now, like more immediately, I think that's where rent
Mm,
to rent comes in. That's how it worked for me anyway, you know. If you've
yeah,
been following us, you probably know a bit about our story. But I mean, I didn't have money to buy in the beginning, but
I know. Yeah,
I wanted to get into rent. I wanted to get into property somehow, and rent to rent was that vehicle for me. Um, and similar to yourself, areas where there's like unis and things going on, buildings and not more building work, contractors, those types of people, which I imagine there are in your area as well. Those have been our main sort of tenant types, basically, for a lot of the properties we've taken on with rent to rent.
without a doubt.
So it's definitely a vehicle, mate. You know, it's not necessarily a 30-year business, but it's
Yeah,
something you can use as a stepping stone for sure, you know.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah.
Um, what do you think stopping you from getting there now? I know it sounds like quite an obvious one, but I mean, there's so much content online and loads of people like teaching, you know.
The, yeah, yeah, no. I think it's just having somebody there to help me guide me through the process, to be honest, mate. I mean,
Hmm.
like you say, there's plenty of knowledge out there, but sometimes you just need somebody kind of that you feels on your side, or someone you can ask questions to, or kind of community, or that you can fall back on. So I feel like it's not through like the lack of a desire to do it. I do
Yeah,
want to do it. I feel like
yeah,
I've been following and learning you for a while, to be honest, Luke. But
yeah,
I would say probably that, mate.
yeah.
Having somebody there, or a person or a community, or just
Hmm.
someone that can help you through the processes. That would
Yeah,
probably be it, mate. Yeah,
yeah. No, that makes perfect sense because I mean, you can get all the advice in the world from the internet, but I guess having someone to actually hold you accountable, give you tasks, who's actually doing it, and get you going and give you that support system is obviously going to speed up the process, right?
100%, mate. Yeah,
And I know obviously you said you do kind of enjoy what you're doing at the moment, but I mean, like, why now? Why has it not been 6 months ago, or why not in six
yeah.
months' time? What's the purpose of it being now?
I think now it's a good time for me personally. Yeah, I mean, with me and the missus, we bought our first house,
Good.
so I've kind of not had that uh, expense of trying to save for a deposit.
Yeah,
So we're kind of settled here. So I think now is a good time to kind of use the bit of money that I have saved up to
sure,
trying to use to kind of, put it to good use kind of thing.
absolutely.
Um, so yeah, other than having it just sat in the bank, try and kind of create a business out of it and something I can put my heart and soul into kind of thing.
Hmm.
I would say that's it, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. That makes perfect sense. In terms of time, I know obviously you're working. What do you think, like, realistically, do you think you could put 2 hours a day roughly in? Because that's what it takes in terms of my students. That's what they're doing at the moment, minimum sort of 2 hours
Without a doubt.
in terms of
Without a doubt.
outreach. Yeah,
Yeah, without a
we'll,
doubt, mate. Yeah.
we'll find
I
find a
mean,
time somewhere.
well, that's it, isn't it? You
Yeah,
find the time it's just a non-negotiable, mate, isn't it? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I guess it comes to how much you want to do it. But so with my rota, Luke, it's like I'm doing longer days.
Hmm.
So it's like 10 or an 11-hour day, but I'm only doing 4 days.
Okay, that's good. So
So,
you'll have.
so I might have 3 days off a week.
Okay, perfect.
Um, so it's not even a thing. And then on top of that, during my days, I'm getting like four 15-minute breaks and a half an hour breaks, so there's an hour and a half
Okay,
break within the 11-hour day.
okay.
Um, so I could, without a doubt, I could
You can
probably do
make
like
some
half an hour.
calls in
Yeah,
between. Yeah,
without a
perfect.
doubt.
Perfect. I just do like to sort of manage people's expectations because it does take a fair bit of, work in the beginning in terms of outreach. Speaking with
Oh,
agents, landlords, when I first started, that's what I was doing, calling people on the way into work. Sometimes I was doing like part-time
yeah,
delivery work. It does take that, and even like going in to see them sometimes as well, if you can, like maybe on those 3 days where you've got off, if you could pop in and have a
Mm,
chat with your local agents and just give them a business
yeah,
card, let them know what you're looking for, uh,
yeah.
and just introduce yourself. If you can do that a couple times a week, that would go a long way as well.
Get your name out there.
Yeah, yeah, because it's a people's game end of the day, and they get so many
Yeah,
people calling them who've just watched a YouTube video or something and asking to
yeah.
take a landlord's property. It's just not realistic.
Nah, nah,
But if
nah,
you actually
nah.
go in and show your face, sit down with them, let them feel your energy a bit, look them in the eye, give them a good handshake, tell them what you're looking for. It just
Without.
makes such a better rapport than just being a voice on the phone.
Oh yeah, completely. And I'm not shy from doing that.
Good.
I could 100% see that would, go a long way. Kind of
Yeah.
want to be known as that guy, that the
Yeah.
go-to kind of thing.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because I feel like you don't get many. It's difficult to be around people with the same
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is.
goals or kind of, yeah.
Well,
So
most people don't really want to build their own business, do they? Most people
uh,
are sort of just doing what everyone else is doing,
yeah,
going
yeah, I
going
know.
through the motions. So to get in a crew of people who are all like-minded, it's so beneficial because you're all thinking the same sort of way. You're all ambitious. You all want to build your own thing. Um, you all want to work for yourselves basically and build a business out. And when you're all singing from the same sheet, it just makes things a lot easier because you're all speaking the same language.
Without a doubt, yeah, no, it'd be refreshing, I feel like. But I mean, in terms of
Absolutely.
just the knowledge that we're all thrown on around each
Yeah.
other,
Yeah.
um, would be mint. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Because we've got people all over the UK. We've got some people not quite as far up as you, but like Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, those sorts of areas as well. We have had one lad
yeah,
yeah.
say
We have
that.
we have had a couple guys who've done okay in I think in Newcastle actually. I remember getting some DMs from them, but I haven't spoken to those guys in a long time. But I think they did get started up there, so there's definitely opportunity up there. I know that for sure.
I think there is, Luke, to be honest, mate. I mean, it's a very and you see thousands of students walking around, so they need
Yeah,
places to live. You know what I
yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah. What's like the
Uh,
average price up there for like I don't know, 5 bed off the top of your head in terms of rent?
so I mean, when I was because I was a student at Newcastle as well, so I remember being 400-500 quid,
A room?
a room, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's
um,
similar to Wales.
yeah. I mean, that was a while ago as well. That was about
Yeah,
6-7 years ago.
yeah.
So I
Probably a
I
little bit
mean.
little bit more now, just because
Well,
rents have gone.
you would thought so. You would thought so, mate. But
Yeah,
I can't imagine there not being a demand. Like, to be
yeah.
perfectly honest. Yeah.
No, there's just so many people there, isn't it? And obviously, like we're still in a housing crisis, and that goes across the board, not just for your normal family, 2, 3 bed house. It's everywhere. It's people need rooms. People
Yeah.
need, if you can get hold of some of those old HMOs that are like
Yeah.
bed sit, self-contained flats inside, like 5, 6, 7, 10 beds, like some of the ones we've got. I mean, there really is that margin there, to like go in, give
Yeah.
the landlord a fixed rent, spruce it up a little bit, make it nicer, and then obviously
Mm.
rent it out to like for that premium price to people maybe just out of uni, maybe just, graduated, going into work, 23, 24 and above, that sort of age.
Working professionals.
Working professionals, yeah, I feel like, and contractors, obviously people developing the area in terms of industry, jobs, that sort of thing.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely, mate. Definitely is a definitely is probably where I'd want to see myself doing it towards. I mean, is that who you're targeting? Is that you primarily target, do you reckon, Luke, or is it just anyone that's wanting a more
Well,
kind of premium vibe kind
Well,
of
we've
thing?
got we've got different ones. So we've got like some that are old tired HMOs that we've put a bit of money into, and we tend to rent those out to like contractors, groups of contractors, ideally.
Mm.
We've got four on the same road that are all rented to like a group of shipping engineers that are like all for the same
Uh,
company. They're based in Finland, but obviously
uh,
they're working over here in Wales on the docks. Um,
really?
yeah, and they couldn't get out a company let in their company name because they're based in Finland, so they're not a UK
Yeah, yeah.
registered business. But then we've also got some smaller units, 2 and 3 bed houses that we put on Booking.com and Airbnb. We might spend a bit more, making them look a bit nicer, more like hotel standard.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we get people come in, staycations, people relocating. Maybe they're in between selling their house and moving in somewhere else. They need somewhere to
Mm,
stay.
mm.
There's so many different situations and scenarios, for those types of tenants, but ultimately they're aware that they have to pay a premium price because it's not a traditional type of tenancy. Most
Yeah.
of the estate agents are after like a 6 month or a year minimum sort of contract with someone. So
Mm,
as soon as a doctor or a nurse goes into estate agents and asks for 4 months,
mm.
they're not going to do it just because they want
No.
it doesn't really fit their business model.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
that same doctor is willing to pay a premium price for someone who is willing to do it, who has
Yeah.
all the bills set up in their company name, so it's just one payment for them. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes those guys pay up front for like 3, 4 months, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And ultimately, you've also got the platforms there like Airbnb and Booking.com to get the lead generation flowing and get people actually booking initially, but then you can
Mhm.
remarket to them afterwards and get them to come back for a stay and maybe book with you directly and things like that. And you build relationships and you get a database of customers and clients that you've worked with and you remarket to them and you just basically fill in holes and fill in gaps all the time. But once you have a good foundation of properties, it becomes a lot easier because you can always find a room or a house somewhere for someone.
Yeah, 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 of course, of course. I mean, no, it sounds good, mate. Sounds good. I mean, what is it that I mean, do you find in many of your properties that you go through phases have of like not being having tenants, or are you kind of at this point, the methods to kind of keep that as minimal as possible, or what?
Yeah.
How is it you go about stuff like that?
Obviously you want to try and minimize that, but I just think like being proactive with the marketing. So like even in like one of my houses, for example, we've had a doctor in there for the last 6 months and he said he might be looking to leave in the next month or so, but we've already got it advertised and we have had it advertised for a couple of weeks now. And
Mm,
another doctor's messaged us who's moving to a hospital close by to work, and he's already
mm,
saying like he'd happily move straight in. So you can already
yeah.
line things up like that. Obviously, then you have like the other properties that are more like Booking.com, Airbnb. Typically, you're going to be getting 65-70% occupancies, like the sweet spot for those, which is
Mm,
like
mm.
Monday to Friday most weeks, and then on the weekend maybe it'll be empty. You get the cleaners in
Yeah.
do the laundry, top up the teas and coffees and stuff, get it back ready.
Yeah.
And ideally, you have people come in Monday to Friday booking, and you will have maybe 6, 7 days, maybe 8 days out of the month where it's empty. But
Mm.
the money you make in those 20 nights, 21 nights is more than enough to cover the guaranteed
Oh,
rent from the landlord and all the bills as well.
oh, without a doubt, yeah. Especially when you look at the prices of some of these Airbnbs, it's
Yeah.
astronomical these days, isn't it? I
Yeah,
mean,
well, it's just the market that allows it to be like that because there's just not enough houses for people.
mm,
So I mean, there are some people putting their prices up, but it's just the game. It's just the market allows you to do so because there's not enough stock for people. Then you have to play the game, don't you? It's not a
that's
personal
it.
thing.
That's it, mate. Yeah. No, no, definitely. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. I'm
Yeah,
excited for the journey, Luke. Excited to put the work in.
yeah, no, brilliant, man. It definitely sounds like
I'm
you.
sure I'll have 100 more questions, mate, but I think we'll stagger them.
Well, I mean, if you've got any more, you can fire. We've got another 10 minutes if you've got any more there, mate. But I mean,
Uh,
yeah, happily
uh,
stagger them over time.
no, no, but don't even know where to start, mate. I think it's more just an excitement to be part of the journey and kind of do the work, to be honest,
Yeah.
mate.
Biggest
Oh.
challenge is probably getting the first property because not so much the practical of it, because once you actually plug in our systems and do the work, it will be inevitable. But just in terms of like what I found is people's belief goes up so much when they get that first one.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you have that proof of concept then. So like even like I noticed it in myself. Once I got that first one, it was like even tone in my voice changed when I'm speaking to agents. It
Yeah,
went from being like timid, could I rent this, to
yeah,
like,
yeah.
listen, I can guarantee the rent. Here it is. I know I can rent it out. This is what we do.
Mm,
So much more confident
mm.
and that sort of shows in your pitch, and it can be so much more persuasive when you believe it. So I just think the hardest challenge is just getting off the ground. But it sounds like you've got quite a bit of belief there already. You've been following us for a while, which is good. So you're familiar with the content and the type of ethos and culture that we're trying to create here.
Yeah, without a doubt, mate.
So I just think doing the work and turning up, it's inevitable that you're going to get the result. It's just a matter of time. We do like to guarantee people the result in 6 months. I mean, we get people that get the results sooner than that. But I think you
Mm,
have to give yourself a bit of time to digest the information, do the course, work through it, and you got to give your brain a bit of time to actually soak it in, maybe go back through it again,
uh,
and then start implementing the strategies in terms of going and doing the practical. And then,
mm,
building the rapport and relationships that can take 6 weeks sometimes, to just become a regular face with the agents and for them to recognize your voice on the phone, first name
yeah,
basis
yeah,
almost.
yeah.
So we like to manage expectations, but ultimately, mate, it's there's challenges along the whole way. Most of them are up front in the beginning. Once you get
Mm,
going, it becomes a lot easier.
mm,
You can even take, photos of your first place, show other agents, maybe get landlords to come and look at your first place, walk them around, show them how it
mm,
works and stuff. Just makes them feel a lot more
mm.
comfortable with you.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity, and it's a chance to really build something for yourself. And for me, it's been life changing for me. I didn't have much going on before I built this company, and it's really sort of been able to catapult me into being able to buy myself some properties as well, which is ultimately the end goal as well, right?
Goal, mate, isn't it? It's the goal, mate, to be honest. I feel like for me at this point, it's just wanting to be my own boss as well and,
Mm,
working when I want to work. It's not that I don't
absolutely.
want to work. I like to work.
Yeah.
I just like to work when I want to work, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
Being
Definitely makes sense.
passionate about something as well, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feeling like it's mine kind of
Yeah.
thing. Instead of turning up and selling shit for other people, basically.
Well, you could be filling your
I
own.
am good at it. I am good at it, Luke. Like I am
Yeah.
good at selling. Like I do
Yeah.
make all right money, but ultimately, it's gotten me to the point where kind of because before here I was living in a HMO like with
Yeah.
seven lads,
Okay.
while mate was saving up to buy a house, which is
Yeah.
it's kind of ingrained in the in today's culture, isn't it?
Yeah.
You need to. So anyway, we bought a house, but I was there for 2.5 years, so
Mm.
it's just the job's got me to the point where I feel like I can pay the bills comfortably, but
Yeah.
ultimately, it's not, I want to do something that I feel like I'm passionate about, and
Yeah.
work on my own terms and all the
Absolutely.
things. Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. And there's that room to grow, isn't there? There's not really any ceiling. That's the amazing thing about being an entrepreneur and a business owner is there's not really any limit to how much you can earn.
mm,
And obviously, yes, there might be more work involved than your typical 9 to 5 in terms of thinking and strategy and not really being able to switch off all the time in terms of like with a nine
yeah,
to five, you can just call it a day at 5 o'clock done. Whereas when you're
yeah.
building your own business, you might have a tenant messaging you 6, 7 o'clock at night on spare room, for example. But
Uh,
if you respond to them, that might end up opening the door to three of your properties being filled with a company that are going to pay you a premium price, and these are the
exactly.
differences between the two. But I mean, ultimately, more work up front, but then
Mm,
long-term freedom, time freedom, no ceiling to how much you can earn, and just having something that you can really call your own, it really does help with your mental health and your peace of mind,
oh,
knowing you have that skill to go out there and kill what you eat, it's
yeah,
like it really
yeah,
does
yeah.
it bigs you up, it really does give you that feeling of like, okay, I can really do this, it's a great feeling that I
No,
think everyone should
I
have.
feel like you've hit the nail on the head for what kind of drives me. I feel like
Yeah,
going down this journey, mate. Um, all of those things, feeling like my own boss, feeling like it's my kind of, you
yeah,
know, baby that I'm putting my heart and soul into, all that type of stuff.
yeah.
And so yeah,
Good.
it's exciting times, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that resonates with you, mate.
It's just it's difficult in this market, Luke. Do you know what I mean? To
Hmm.
find out the avenue or the vehicle to kind of
Yeah,
go
of
down.
course. It can be confusing, man. There's so much online, isn't there? Like you said, flips and BRR and HMO.
Yeah.
But what I found is by sticking with one and picking one and just putting all
Mm.
your energy into one, I think that's how you're
Yeah,
gonna succeed.
without a doubt, mate. Yeah, no, and I think I'm fully focused on rent to rent being.
Yeah.
I feel like we've got no choice, mate. Do you? I mean, you see all these people that put 70 grand in. And it's like, well, how do you just feels like a million miles away from where you're at,
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
that position starting
Yeah,
off.
yeah, you got to build up that pot. But when you build a
Mm.
business that actually brings you in a good amount of money, and obviously when it frees up a bit of your time, you get to then develop your skills further as an entrepreneur and improve.
Mm,
and improve your service. And you only need, you know, four or five of these sort of larger HMOs that are making you £1,500 a month, you know, a grand a
mm,
month. You get to that
yeah,
stage, and all of a sudden you can save a large amount of money every month, and you can start getting those deposits ready for buy to lets and stuff quite quickly within
yeah.
6 months, a year, you know, and it starts to compound. But it all starts with building the thing out first and getting those first sort of 4 or 5 properties under your belt, you know.
Yes, mate. Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that one that I lived in for 2.5 years, that was a 7 bed.
Wow, yeah.
And yeah, and that was like two on the first floor. I was on the first, three on the second floor, and then two on the third floor.
Yeah,
So, and everyone's paying like 400-500 quid. You know what I
those are the
mean? So
ones. Those are the
those are the
ones.
ones. And you'd never know from the outside, Luke, because you're looking in. It just looks like a dorm.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
it's
how a lot of them
crazy.
are. That's how a lot of them are.
Yeah.
You'll see once we start getting into the marketing and we send some letters out and
Mm.
you go on some viewings, you'll see for yourself like there'll be some properties like you say that just don't really look like they're going to be anything inside. You go in and there's like amazing room for margins and ensuite rooms, and it just needs a bit of love and
Mm.
someone with a bit of energy and a bit of a creative mind to come in and spruce it up a bit, you know, and improve it.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. It's
Yeah.
exciting, mate. No, no,
Good.
I definitely sign on, mate, if you chuck that through
Yeah,
after we
yeah,
finish.
yeah.
Like,
You'll get that sent straight over. It will probably ask you to just email us back, just to confirm that you want the code to be sent to you.
yeah,
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 and then my assistant there will send you the code. You put the code in, that will reduce the price. You pay, you get onboarded, you put your number in as well, and then we'll get you straight in the WhatsApp group today.
yeah,
And then maybe depending on what we're looking like, maybe next Sunday would be our first call. If unless you wanted to jump on this Sunday, we could jump on this Sunday as well if you wanted to. But it might be best for you to go through the course a bit and get familiar with it.
yeah, yeah. Probably do that, mate. Yeah, probably do that. Just so you know, with my work rota, it changes every week, Luke.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, it's only I think one. I think it's only one Sunday a month that I work.
yeah.
So
That's all right. So then we could
even,
do a Wednesday.
yeah, yeah. Whatever you think, mate, because I can even do it while I'm at work. Because like I say, I'll get a half an hour lunch and four
Yeah,
15-minute breaks.
yeah. We'll
So
figure it out. We'll figure it out.
we'll figure.
We'll be talking on WhatsApp anyway. So whatever we need to do to get those hours in, we'll get it done, mate. It's not an issue at all. We'll figure it out.